Shout for joy. Sing joyfully. Be glad and exult with all your heart. The prophet Zephaniah tells us in our first reading. Rejoice in the Lord always, St. Paul tells us in our second reading. I shall say it again, rejoice. The third Sunday of Advent is called Gaudete Sunday, from the Latin word to rejoice, as we reach the halfway point of Advent. And I'm sure there are times for all of us when we do feel joyful, when things are going well for us and for the people we love, and we can easily shout for joy. But there may be other times when we simply don't feel very joyful. Maybe someone dear to us is ill or struggling, or maybe we feel especially pressured and burdened by our work and our worries. At those times, if we hear the prophet Zephaniah and St. Paul telling us to be joyful, we may catch ourselves mumbling, easy for you to say. But actually, it wasn't easy for them to say. The prophet Zephaniah was writing at a time when his kingdom of Judah was surrounded by enemies, and most of the people were taken captive into Babylon. But Zephaniah still says, shout for joy. As St. Paul was talking about rejoicing always, he was in prison. And we know from his other letters that he also suffered shipwreck several times. He was beaten, he suffered hunger and cold, and yet he can say, rejoice always. Now obviously both Zephaniah and St. Paul are talking about a kind of joy different from the joy we experience when everything is going very well for us. This is a much deeper kind of joy. Zephaniah says, the King of Israel is in your midst, and he will renew you in his love. St. Paul says, rejoice in the Lord. Both are convinced of the nearness of God to them, and their joy is rooted in that conviction. In the Gospel for today, St. John the Baptist points the people to Jesus. That's where they will find their deepest joy. Pope Francis, in his apostolic exhortation, The Joy of the Gospel, reminds us, the joy of the gospel fills the hearts and lives of all who encounter Jesus. Those who accept his offer of salvation are set free from sin, sorrow, inner emptiness, and loneliness. In another place, Pope Francis challenges us not to be gloomy disciples. Gloom is contagious, but so is joy. May we do our very best to live the gospel joyfully, supported in faith by our sisters and brothers, and grounded in our conviction of the presence of Jesus with us and his love for us, as we rejoice always.